Would you look at that? We've managed another episode of Q Times. Hello, hello.
One more time. Chris, thank you for taking the time to talk to me. So the main event, the reason why I invited you here, and again, thank you for responding to my DMs. Part of the challenge is finding people that don't leave me on red, as I'm sure you can guess. So I've got 7 general questions. I might throw in a few here and there and everywhere, and then maybe a bonus one at the end. So question number 1 is, what is the ride that made you fall in love with theme parks and got you properly hooked?
So probably the story I've mentioned on my channel a few times would be Nemesis. So I can't remember exactly when I went on it. Like, it was a school trip. There's a photo somewhere, so I'm hoping it's got the year on it if I ever find it. But it must have been close to when it opened, so 94, 95, 96. Spent hours in the queue because, you know, new ride and all that. Got to the end and walked straight through the train and to the other side of the station. I was like, I'm not doing this. And then just as the ride ops were going around pulling down the restraints, it was like, wait, I queued for an hour, 2 hours, whatever it is. I'm going to go and do this. And I absolutely loved it. So that's probably the first major coaster I can think of that kind of whet my appetite and got me hooked on rides.
Oh, fantastic. Yeah, I think for mine, it might be Colossus, but unfortunately, I don't look back on that coaster quite as favourably due to the condition it's in. What is your most re-rideable attraction? Something you could do time and time again, possibly even sit on all day?
So up until last year, my number one coaster was Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind over in Epcot. And even though it's been knocked off to the top spot, it's probably one of the most re-rideable things for me. I know when it first came out, people were saying, oh, you know, you get motion sickness, and touch wood, I don't get affected by that. I think it is so smooth. I could just lap that thing. There's obviously the randomness of the music. The September song, that's my daughter's birthday, so when I go out this year, I'm kind of hoping that we get that song. But yeah, I could just sit on that thing all day. Fantastic ride.
I was about to ask you what your favourite song is. Is it safe to assume it's September based on your daughters, or do you have a personal favourite?
Do you know, I don't think there's any on that ride that are bad. I think I like all the songs, but yeah, I guess that one's got some sort of connection in terms of my daughter's birthday, so probably that one.
Now, in the name Coaster Dad, let's talk about families. I'm interested to know that a part that surprised you as a guest, somewhere that actually worked out far better for families than perhaps you were anticipating.
Probably, and this might sound stupid when I say it, but probably Poulton's Park, because I took my kids there 3-4 years ago before I started the channel. And I kind of didn't know much about it. I think, like most people, I was like, oh, that's Peppa Pig Land. And then, you know, if you've been, you'll know, yes, there is Peppa Pig Land, but there's actually so much more. And I would argue it's probably one of the best parks in the UK in terms of its kind of future and theming and just well-rounded experience. And I think that kind of caught me off guard because I genuinely just expected Peppa Pig rides and a couple of coasters, and it's so much more than that.
Windy Castle, if you've ever been on that and you've given it a good old spin, you can get, you know, some pretty good forces on that. And of course, don't forget about Cyclonator. For me, it's one of the rides that I absolutely fucking hate. I'm not massive on any spin, pendulum rides. Vortex is about as big as I'll go. So
you're looking forward to Evictus then, yeah?
Do you know, I haven't bought one of the tickets. I'm kind of building up. I'm going to wait for everyone else to go on it, see how they feel, and then maybe I'll pluck up the courage.
Fair enough.
What is a ride that you love that others perhaps don't seem to get? So, you know, something that you'll always defend.
That's quite a tricky one. I think, I don't know if I could pick a specific ride, but I think, again, I'm pretty passionate about Blackpool Pleasure Beach. It's where I went as a child. It's, you know, where I've taken my own kids. I hope my kids take their kids, and all so on and so forth. So it's a park I do defend, and it's not that I don't see the flaws. I just want them to do well. I think they've got a lot of older attractions that, for me, I kind of like that they're keeping those or have kept those. I hope they do continue to do so. So things like Alice or the Derby Racer. You know, I don't think they get very much love, but I just think they are fantastic rides for what they are. They're not the latest, the greatest, the flashiest, but I just think they've got that kind of nice nostalgia about them, and I really like them.
I think there's a lot to be said for nostalgia and maintaining a park's history and kind of playing into that rather than just, you know, consistently trying to deliver shiny new toys. So
it's a balance, though, isn't it? It's a tricky one. It is a tricky one.
I'd love to know the park moment that sticks with you the most. It doesn't necessarily have to be a ride, just, kind of on park.
I'll give you a good one and I'll give you a bad one. The bad one would be back in Blackpool again. I went on Icon, and for whatever reason, I didn't bother zipping up my pockets. And just after the top hat, I saw something out the corner of my eye and watched my keys just disappear in slow motion. House keys, car keys, office keys, every single key you could think of. And unfortunately, I did not get those recovered. So I had to pay for my ex-wife to jump on a train from Edinburgh with a spare car key, and then had a lovely 3-hour drive up the road with my ex-wife, which was fantastic. On a more positive note, though, last year we were on the Your Experience Guide trip to the US. Fantastic. When you're with other enthusiasts, it's just brilliant. You get that like-mindedness. We went to Knoebels and we went on a ride, Phoenix, a wooden coaster. I'd never heard anything about it, but it is just batshit crazy. Pretty much stood up the whole way around, and we were all just in stitches laughing, and we had an hour to ourselves. So that is definitely a memory that will stick with me.
There's a lot to be said when you're surrounded by other kind of enthusiasts. I find myself often ending up going to theme parks on my own or sitting in single rider. So it's a refreshing change when you've actually got someone that you recognise next to you.
Yeah, absolutely. 100%.
If you could design your perfect theme park day, one park, obviously one day, what would that look like for you?
Well, I mean, a park. So I've done a lot of videos about kind of rating parks and stuff, and they've not been necessarily my personal opinion. I try and be objective, but personally, my favourite park is Phantasialand. Absolutely love that place. I find it crazy that it's similar size to Blackpool, but it is like night and day. It's so immersive. I took my kids there just before I started the channel. It was October, so it was quite quiet. And we just lapped things. Like, if I could just have another quiet day in that park, going around Tarn and Fly, I say lap them. If you've been, the queues are about 5 minutes long, even if they're empty, because they're so damn long. But that park is just stunning. I would just sit there all day and have a fantastic time.
As you say, it's a marathon, not a sprint with Phantasialand.
Yeah. No, I mean, they're doing a fantastic job. I'm actually kind of curious, because obviously Fly is... I love Fly, but I do think... Because I've always thought, why have Vekoma not sold any more of these? Because it's the only one. And when you see it compared to like the B&M flying coasters, it's so much better the way that you kind of load and offload and stuff. Mm-hmm. But somebody pointed out to me, if you took Fly and dumped it in a Six Flags park, just on a bit of concrete, it would not be the same ride, right? If it wasn't for Rookburg, Fly would not be Fly. So I do wonder, when somebody else does build one, are they going to have to get that level of immersion to have the same experience, or does the ride itself kind of stand out? Who knows?
We're going to at least need a hotel with a door that opens directly onto the ride tracks and the pool table and all the rest of it, and the iconic soundtrack of Pulse of Rookburg as well. Oh, it's just fantastic.
Beautiful place. Absolutely beautiful.
Question that I've been asking everyone is about a prized possession or item relating to theme parks. I'd love to know what you have. This is a show and tell moment for you.
Right. Well, I mean, I've got a whole kind of selection of bits and bobs here, but I do have this homemade. So my daughter made this for me at Christmas. It's like a Coaster Dad carriage. Kind of love from Coaster Daughter 3, do not stand up. And then underneath, I don't know if you can see that, I'm so proud of you. Because when I first started the channel, like, the kids didn't want to be involved in it. They were like, oh, keep me out the camera. But they've kind of seen how I've kind of evolved the channel, and I still find it bonkers when I'm in a park and somebody comes up to me and says, oh, I saw this video, or can I get a picture? And I'm like, I'm just a guy with a camera and terrible jokes. Like, well, but okay, if you want a picture, that's fine. So, my kids are supportive of the channel these days. So that's definitely my possession.
Amazing. I think that's really, really lovely. The last thing that I kind of wanted to touch on is how you got into theme parks, how Coaster Dad came about, how your relationships with parks have changed. I'm also interested, obviously, in the balance between kind of family and solo, whether or not you kind of try to prioritise going with the family.
That's a good question. I mean, I've been doing theme parks for a long time, and I noticed that when my kids were younger, I was kind of using them as an excuse to go to the parks, when really it was me that wanted to go to the parks. So when my ex-wife and I broke up, when she had the kids at the weekend, I was like, I can go to the parks on my own. This is fantastic. I can go and do my own thing. So it's weird. I mean, Coaster Dad, the daughter that made me the train there, she literally went, "You like coasters, you're a dad, why don't you call it Coaster Dad?" And I was like, there's logic there, why not? So, it's a scalable brand. At some point it'll be Coaster Grandad, I don't know. Bizarrely, the kids don't come with me as much these days. My eldest daughter works, and so therefore I make her pay. She is coming to Florida with me. That's her. I'm treating her for her 21st later this year. My youngest, she turns 16, so I'm treating her to Florida. She had surgery last year, so she can't do coasters till probably May, June time this year, and she's desperate to get back. And my other daughter, she just decided she doesn't do theme parks anymore. So more often than not, it's just me or me and Carly. In terms of the balance, though, difficult. Like, I've got the day job, I've got the YouTube stuff, I've got, my partner, family, and I don't always get the balance right. And sometimes I'm a bit of a night owl, so I'll be up till 2, 3 in the morning, then back up at 9 o'clock for work. So yeah, it's burning the candle at both ends.
How do you kind of break that stigma, if you like, and that challenge of just going, right, well, I'm just going to go to a theme park on my own? Because I think it's something that you kind of break through that kind of initial worrying about it. And then once you actually do it, I've had a great time.
I think that's exactly it. And there's definitely, I like both, right? I mean, as you say, when you're on your own, you've got that freedom to do what you want, when you want, at your own pace. Although I'm terrible because I don't stop for food and then I go, oh, I'm hungry. But it's also great when you share it with friends and family and stuff, right? I think the first trip I did, so the first video I did on YouTube was Efteling with the kids. But then the second one, I went to Plopsaland on my own, and that was weird because I'd never really done an international park solo. And, now I'll just bring the camera out. I don't care. Just chat in the parks. But back then, I would find the quiet corner in the park, and I'd be like chatting away to this camera, hoping nobody would see me. So, amazing how far I've come from that. But yeah, it's one of those things. Just get out there and do it, and you'll enjoy yourself. It's great if you can find a park that's got single rider queues as well, because then you can get on more stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. Couldn't agree with you more. Chris, that has been fantastic and really, really interesting and insightful. Thank you for taking the time, and have a wonderful day.
Cheers, Sam.
Chris, you're a legend. Thanks for hopping on. Who would you like to see next? Who do you think will respond to my DMs? Tune in next week.